This is the all-new 7th generation Mercedes S-Class, and car sales have been given an exclusive chance to have a quick look around it. So, let's get cracking. Let's start off with the styling, because there's some important elements with this S-Class, and firstly is they haven't gone to town with sort of surfacing and fussy detailing, and that's part of a sort of a grand plan for Mercedes designers to sort of add some reductive elements in what they call it a post-bling world. By the way, this model's the AMG line, and that's just going to be the most popular model in Australia because, well, Australians love AMGs. Interestingly, the badge remains on the top, the silver star there, but we think the proper AMG version, which will be the sort of the S63, will move that down to the grille, so stays to tradition. At the back of the car we have, of course, the all-important rear diffuser, so everybody knows you've paid a little bit extra for the AMG line. While we're here, I've just got to point something out. There's this really ugly little spot. We have to go back to the front of the car for me to explain why it's there, but don't you just want to lance it? So the reason that little bump is at the back is this car has Mercedes-Benz next generation semi-autonomous driving aids, and this is where most of the sensors live. So there's things like the LiDAR, the radar, the laser. Now, I spoke to an engineer and he claims that this car has all the hardware needed for it to be fully autonomous, so probably level 5. At the moment, Mercedes plans to sort of introduce level 3, but it means it could be upgraded during its lifetime, which is exciting. While we're here though, you've got to check out these headlamps. I mean, these are so cool, and it's not often I get excited about headlamps. But this is so advanced that you could actually project a black and white movie onto your garage door. From launch, this car is going to have an engine range that consists of 3-litre inline turbocharged diesel and also a 3-litre inline turbocharged petrol. Mercedes-AMG will launch a version that will bring back the 4-litre twin turbocharged V8. It will definitely get 48-volt mild hybrid, so it'll be a lot more efficient and cleaner than the outgoing models. Check out the door handles. They look lifted from Tesla, but actually are an important aero aid, which means this car's quieter at speed. Now, check out this interior. There's a reason why I'm starting from the back of the car and not the front, is because Mercedes designers and engineers, well, they've really focused on the important people who sit back here because, well, most of the time they paid for the car. Some new innovations for this car. I mean, I've never heard this before, but these rear passenger seats both have an airbag on either side. Another interesting technology, which is an exclusive thing to the Mercedes S-Class, is in the event of a side swipe, the active suspension jacks itself up to ensure that the impact is on the sills and not on the B-pillars, which is apparently a lot safer. Other things to point out, I mean, this cabin is absolutely incredible. Climbing into these seats is quite interesting because they're 2-stage cushions. So the first time you get in, they feel really soft. And then once you're here, they're actually quite, they're quite figure hugging and they're quite firm. One more thing actually, almost forgot. This car has the Burmeister stereo system, which has, you will never guess the number of speakers. There are 31 speakers. Isn't that insane? 31. Even weirder, Mercedes-Benz say they have created something called 4D sound, which I thought was a load of bollocks. But actually what it does is it gives the impression, if you've ever been to a festival or concert, of you standing inside one of the bass speakers, because you actually feel the pumping on your chest. I don't find it that impressive or that pleasant, but for some people they're going to love it. This is nice, this is nice. Up front, it's no less impressive. I mean, this is supposed to be called their sort of waterfall infotainment system with its design. It's all very swoopy and very nice and feels very expensive in here as well. All models will come with a 9-speed automatic transmission, and some will also come with 4-wheel steering as well. So this car will be, more stable at high speed and more agile and maneuverable at low speed in the city, which is all good. The other interesting state-of-the-art technology that's been introduced into this car is it has a augmented reality head-up display. Now, what does that mean? Well, basically what Mercedes does is they sort of paint images on the road up to 10 meters ahead. So if it says you need to come off at the next left, it actually puts an arrow on the road and shows exactly the lane. Another really freakish piece of technology is it has this sort of virtual cockpit instrument, digital cluster in front. if you press a button up there, trust me, I did it earlier, it transforms this display here into a 3D display, which is really, really strange for somebody like me. I can't get my head around it. But basically what it does is if you have it in the satellite navigation mode, you're actually driving a car on the screen in a 3D environment, and you can actually, it's like a game. I think Mercedes has basically tried to gamify the sat-nav, so you can actually drive the car through the streets on the screen. Now that was a very fast and furious and slightly sweaty first look at the 7th generation Mercedes S-Class, and I think they've done so many other things so well in this car, from just the design, the fit and finish, the glorious cabin. I would not bet against this car being, well, the very best in its class when it arrives in Australia in early 2021.